All right, awesome, no worries. So we'll open this meeting at 13:32 West Australian time or 16:32 Sydney time. So I'd like to welcome everyone to this year's AGM as I did before. I'll just start off very quickly by acknowledging the traditional landowners for where we're holding this meeting today, which is the Gadigal people of the Eora Nation. This meeting today was going to be chaired by David Hooton, but unfortunately he's had to give us his apologies due to a last-minute conflict, and hopefully he will be able to join us at some stage during the meeting. Hopefully we'll be able to get through the formalities very quickly and then go to the interesting side of the AGM. So the agenda's on the screen there, we just moved on from it. So we'll just get started. Once again, welcome to the AGM. I just need to check the first formality, which is quorum. So I'll ask Kitty just to confirm that we do have quorum, which is per Rule 48, Section 3, 3 corporate members and 3 professional members. Kitty?
Yep, we have at least 3 corporate and 3 professional members in attendance.
Excellent, thank you very much. The next formality would be to accept David Hooton's apologies for this meeting, unfortunately. Want to accept that?
I'll accept that.
Show the record that Brett's accepted David's apologies, which is perfect. Next thing will be a motion to accept the previous minutes.
Propose to accept the previous minutes.
I'll put that motion forward and seconded by Brett, which is fantastic. All right, next set of formalities. Look, this goes without saying, but I'd like to thank the current board. There may be some changes this year. I am stepping down this year. There may be some other people who don't get elected, but the board over the last 2 years, especially last year, put in an extremely large amount of effort, especially with Kelly Island's passing and Narelle's appointment. So there's been a lot of changes and a lot of board time involved. So from myself personally and from everyone, all the staff, thank you to the board. What do we have next? Secretary's report. Awesome, which is me. Okay, the Secretary's report. Hopefully everyone has seen the audited financials that we emailed out. The income for the last financial year was 2.98 million, which was up from 2.6 million in the last financial year. Net year surplus was $547,434. which was up from $512,447 in the last financial year. We have a significant cash balance of $2.3 million. This allows for us to fund future board investment in a range of network upgrades and other programs, which will be talked about by Narelle further on in this meeting. I need to put a motion forward for us to appoint a new auditor. We're hoping to change auditors next year. We'd like to put the motion forward to appoint Crunch Auditing. So the motion will be to appoint Crunch Auditing with their ABN of Suite 3, 128 Main Street, Osborne Park, to be adopted by the IA auditors for 20 and 21. Does this need to be? It doesn't?
It does.
It does. Do you accept the auditors?
Yes.
Excellent. Well, Brett will record as Brett accepting the auditors for next year. Thanks, Brett. All right, next formality will be for me to hand over to Narelle for her CEO report.
Do you have any questions? Do people have any questions regarding the financials?
All right, that's a good question. We can ask later on, but if anyone wants to put their hand up or put a question in the chat, if you have anything about the audited financials that were presented in the report and I just read out, if anyone has any questions, we'll just pause for a second. And Kitty, if you could let me know if there are any.
Yeah, I've got no questions coming in.
All right, no worries. If anyone does have questions about the financials, I'm happy to go through it later on. If anyone's reviewing them and they haven't beforehand, that's no problem. All right, I'll hand over to Narelle for her CEO report.
Okay, thank you then. So over the last financial year, it has been what we would say a very strong year for the association, but it has been a really tough year for us. We started the year with solid goals and a really good plan to get there, but unfortunately, we did encounter tragedy. and that stalled a lot of the association's plans at the time. We started the year with an effective full-time staff of 6.2, which then we've now got to at 8.4. We recruited 2 excellent engineers, Aaron and Washif, whom I hope a number of you have had the opportunity to meet. And Tanzia Hewer has returned from parental leave. We did see a change in the overall management structure, in that we had Kitty Hibble step up to the executive officer position after Kelly Ireland passed. And ultimately we combined the 2 general manager roles into 1 CEO role. So my own personal background with literally decades in the sector means that I have the technical know-how and the operations management experience with a good grasp of the regulatory issues, and know a lot of people within the industry. Thus, we've been able to successfully combine those 2 roles. It means we don't need 2 senior people in the GM positions. That said, I do hope to continue developing the team. Kitty Hibble has stepped up to lead the admin side of things, and Nick Crackley has been absolutely brilliant as the technical team lead. Internal processes. We've been reviewing a lot of our internal processes and strengthened those. We've undertaken a significant financial audit over the period. Just a sec. We've conducted a brilliant social program, and I'll go into that a little bit more later. One thing I've been trying to do is to introduce more of that sort of telco discipline in doing things, but retain that fresh, agile approach that the smaller challenger organisation has. So things like better financial discipline, platform forecasting, and technical reviews before major changes. And as I said, we completed a billing audit, which greatly improved accuracy and ensured that discounts and incentives are applied fairly. We also undertook a security review, and we got excellent results in that, which meant that we brought forward route server upgrades, and it also meant we could do RPKI sooner. I have been going around meeting as many of the members as I possibly can, and if I haven't met you yet, those who are present, then I will certainly do so as soon as I can. So we've had some great events over the year. At the end of 2019, we commenced the Unplugged series, where we actually managed to get a bunch of people in the room, and wasn't it wonderful then? We also had a couple of policy workshops. We had one on NBN policy and another one on the Assistance and Access Bill, which at that time we met directly with the representatives of the National Security Legislation Monitor. We did have end-of-year socials right across the country. We supported Apricot, which was a significant conference right at that fine line just before all of the borders closed, and that was an amazing event to attend, and it was it'll be a collector's item, I think, that T-shirt, given there's only been one or 2 T-shirts issued for the year for in-person events. And we started the Life Under Lockdown online series. So this year too, in planning for our AGM, we did discover a bunch of issues with the rules that meant that, we had conflicting items within the rules that meant that the AGM was a lot of fun to plan, let me say. But it also brought to our attention that many not-for-profit organisations find that they outgrow state-based associations law after a time, and would benefit more from moving across to a national not-for-profit structure as a company limited by guarantee. So then you fall under the Australian Corporations Law. What we would like to do is to go through a period of consultation with you, the membership, to make sure that we get a strong understanding of what you think is important about our governance, and that we undertake a full review of the rules at that time, incorporate the things that you think are important into our rules, review them extensively, and then either change the rules within the West Australian Associations Law, or migrate completely across to Corporations Law, if that is what you, the members, would think is appropriate. So I've mapped out there a program for us to do that. The plan being that we will write a discussion paper, we will hold a series of consultation events, we will draft a new constitution, solicit feedback on that, and then put that final view to the, well, both the members and the board to see whether or not that should be put to an SGM to either adopt as new rules under West Australian law or move across completely to corporations law. So rest assured, the last thing we want to do is lose our connections with Western Australia. Our origin story is starting as a small organisation within Western Australia is just too beautiful to ever lose. So please, the fact that our basis or our foundation is in Western Australia, but that we're now a national organisation is something I think to be proud of and something we need to preserve. Another thing I want to announce is what we're calling the Kelly Island Memorial Program. For those of you who knew Kelly and worked with Kelly, and many of you will have done so, you will remember her as a fun, incredibly well organised person and a vital part of the internet industry within Australia. We miss her like crazy, and we would like to fund a pilot program to remember her, and we hope that you as the membership will also form part of that pilot program. The first thing in this is that we would like to have a conference support program where we fund a number of women across the industry to attend the NOGs, both AusNOG and NZNOG. And if not those particular conferences, then something of similar ilk. We will support them and provide some training such that they can present at the conference, at least in a lightning talk. We will subsidise we will sponsor some mentoring programs, and so we would call upon you members to nominate women within your own organisations or perhaps early career women who are working their way through university or TAFE or other learning programs so that we can support them and provide some mentoring so that they succeed in this industry. We would like to support WITWA, which is an exciting association based in Western Australia that supports women in the typical areas, should I say? Sorry. So that will again support early career and professional women, but based in Western Australia. And then some coding camps to sponsor at least one Code Like a Girl coding camp, and that would target some of the younger future members of our sector. And I hope we have your support for that, folks. Okay, on to the technical report. Now I might need Nick to give us a hand in this one because he's across more of the details certainly than I am. Okay, over the year, we've managed to build out some new platforms and systems and strengthen those along the way. We've got a new looking glass, which hopefully many of you have been able to use. We've got new route server software. We've upgraded to Bird 2.07, a new automation strategy. One thing that I have seen in my years in this industry is the holy grail of flow-through provisioning. And truly, folks, I think we're nearly there. Cross your fingers, but I think we'll get there. We're now doing the AS set updates, all fully automated. We decommissioned Pipe DC3, so we're down 1 point of presence from last year. We've gone from 37 now to 36. Thanks to TPG exiting that site, not because we didn't feel capable of running it. We've embarked on a series of intercapital upgrades, and hopefully you'll see all of that, all of those new 10 gig links in service soon. The BDX8s, the switches that people love to hate, being replaced. We've already managed to replace the one in Sydney. That was a lovely piece of work by Nick and Aaron overnight. Well, it's a month or 3 ago now. But
do you miss it?
It's still in storage.
We're planning to replace the Melbourne one as soon as travel is available, and that could be real soon now. And I mentioned earlier that we had our security audited and came through with flying colours. Okay, so we will continue to strengthen these systems into the future. We have more automation planned. We're planning to, first of all, create a whole new portal. We've got to undertake that project very, very carefully, folks. So that portal will be scoped thoroughly so that you can do all of the wonderful things you've all wanted to do for some time. You know, update your MAC addresses easily yourselves, automate the letter of authorizations quickly and easily. But that system will be a key to the way we operate. We will continue to replace the remaining BDX8. We have already implemented our PKI. Of course, these AGMs report on the financial year, but the new year starts afterwards. So 1st of September, we implemented our PKI. So now all of our routes are being validated on the way across. We've introduced at least one new 100 gig Facebook cache. I think all 3 of them are now operating, aren't they, Nick? No, we've just got 1 out of the 3. We've got 2.
Melbourne's operating, Brisbane next week, and Perth a couple of weeks from now.
So if you didn't hear that, Melbourne's already in operation, Brisbane's due next week, and Perth will be in a couple of weeks. That's interesting. And we've got new content and mirrors in the pipeline. So far, we've got a new SourceForge mirror coming online. If there are any other mirrors or other forms of content that you would like to see, please let us know, because we will hunt them down and get them on board if we possibly can. Okay, here is a wonderful diagram of our wonderful network, of which we are all very proud. It is wonderful to see all of those pops. Of course, we do operate another 5 in New Zealand on behalf of the NZIX. So there's more than just those on board, folks. As I've mentioned earlier, we are planning a bunch of upgrades. Everything that's shown there in a dotted line is a 10 gig link in the pipeline, not yet activated. And we are constantly also looking at the capacity across the rings themselves. So it may well be that within the next few months, we will expand New South Wales, Western Australia and Queensland rings, but at this stage, it's a wait and see. Another thing we're looking at is the possibility of migrating from OSPF to ISIS. If you have a preference for routing protocols, folks, feel free to join that discussion as well. Obviously, we will always be evaluating eVPN along with VPLS, but at this stage of the game, it's a strong VPLS to us. EIGRP, oh yeah.
Rip.
Yes. So for the comedians in the audience, we will examine. Look, mate,
Static
Rick,
wrap the whole
reckon
thing,
Rick's
I
gonna
reckon.
have to work for us all. Okay, moving right along. So there is the network diagram. I'm sure you can all read that and debug it from where you're sitting, but that's our wonderful network. Now, member product portfolio, as you know, we offer internet peering, extended reach peering, virtual lease line. We have, what's it called? VPC, the express routes into AWS. So you can get your peering into your clouds if you would like that, folks. So please feel free to order them. We do still, of course, offer transit and colo to in some locations, but our emphasis is, of course, on peering. Here's some stats over the year. So this is the financial year. You can see there was a bit of an uptick around about Christmas time. And then if we look over the calendar year, you can see what happened around about March, along with everybody else. All of a sudden, there's quite a significant jump in our traffic, and of course those delightful spikes we see every month from a certain software provider. We continue still to see the traffic on higher than what it was in the past, and of course this is completely what we all think to be the new normal. Okay, historically you can see this the growth in traffic across the IXs there. Each of those lines represents a different IX. Actually, these graphs, folks, are available in our first ever downloadable and printable annual report. If you've not received a copy of that, please have a look. So this graph shows you from 1st of July 2014 to the beginning of last month, and you can see that the main growth that we do see is across the New South Wales IX. Our port counts are looking good and solid. We have plenty of ports, folks, and plenty of ports more if you would like more. So feel free to connect up more ports. And the more peers we have, the better. We're happy. Okay, so thoughts for the future. Of course, as I've been getting around talking to our different members, I'm hearing a range of thoughts from people about where our new products and services should be. But we, of course, won't let our attention drift from our fundamentals. That is making sure that the IXs that we currently provide today are fully redundant, that they are resilient, that they are robust and reliable at all times. But what do you think our new services should be? Should we be making more links into the various clouds, or a more diverse range of services directly available into the various cloud services providers? Should we be offering a SIP interconnect platform? I don't know. Really, it's up to you as our membership to let us know what you think is going to work for the membership. And of course, we will make sure that we will properly evaluate it from a technical and a financial perspective, so that we don't pour members' money down the toilet or any other bad place. Sorry. Okay, so I think, oh yes, on the advocacy front, we have been taking more of a role in the advocacy area. The issue of the burden of regulation that is applied to many service providers is one which I have directly taken to the Minister for Communications within the last couple of months, actually. I met with him and discussed that. We are concerned about the level of surveillance that service providers are having to apply, and this again imposes a regulatory burden in that you need to keep records of everything and keep robust practices in place, which of course I'm sure you can do and do, but the fact that you then need to do this in answer to potentially the Department of Home Affairs, as well as the what the Department of Communications is now called. The consumer protections area is one, of course, which we will continue to look at, given that we would always like to strike a balance between a strong level of consumer protection, particularly as we do have that under the Australian consumer law, and also the regulatory burden that then imposes on particularly smaller providers, which many of you are. Professional matters, we could look at a range of issues to do with perhaps the certification of engineers in this area. Again, there's questions that I put to the membership to see what it is you think we should be doing. And of course, issues around the NBN will remain on our list of advocacy matters going into the future. But I would really like to hear from the membership as to what you think our focus should be. Okay, so that's all I prepared on the update front. I should ask Kitty if there are any questions that I should attempt to answer at this point in time.
No,
And I
there's
guess
no.
in regards to what you were just, I was going to say in regards to what you're saying, if people want to reach out, they can email you, they can phone at any time.
Yep.
You're happy to have a chat.
Absolutely.
Feel
folks.
free. The communication is open. So
Communication's open. I start work at the beginning of the day in Australian Eastern Daylight Time, and I finish it late at night in Perth time. And some days I start in New Zealand time as well. So I'm very keen to hear what people have to say. You can email me directly at using the address ceo@internet.asn.au. Okay, so I shall
there weren't any questions, but there were a few thank yous. And here he is as well. But I think the here might have been around the Kelly announcement.
awesome. Thank you very much.
That's great. Glad to hear that. Okay, so I'll hand back to Nathan to announce the board elections and officially declare the seats vacant.
Sure. Thank you very much, Daryl. All right, the next section of formality is around the board elections. So I'll start off by declaring the positions which are up for re-election open. And they are two positions for professional members. One is for 2 years and one is for 3 years. And there are 4 corporate positions open on the board. Once again, 2 for 2 years and 2 for 3 years. And the reason for this is just around aligning everything with some changes that were made to the rules last year and accepted by the members in regards to nomination periods. So we have 3 nominees in the professional class. They are Matthew Enger, who is a current board member and has done a fantastic job. Matthew Moyle-Croft, also current board member for a few years and done a fantastic job as well. And Aftab, I'm not even going to try and pronounce your surname. Sorry, Aftab. Siddiqui. Aftab has obviously been around in the industry for a long time as well, and everyone knows Aftab quite well. In regards to the corporate nominees, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 nominees. Once again, we have Matthew Enger, who is nominated in both categories. He represents X Integration Proprietary Limited. We have Nate Garr, representing StackPath LLC. We have David Hooton, our current chairman or chairperson, representing Field Solutions Group. We have Brett O'Hara, representing Vocus. We have Richard Thompson representing Cloudflare. And last but not least, we have Angus Thompson as well, representing Flux, the Australian cloud. All right, the voting has already been conducted online, and I'm going to hand over to Daryl Collins, who is our returning officer for the results of those elections. Thanks, Daryl.
Thanks, Nathan. Firstly, thanks to all of the 2020 board nominees. I'd like to announce that our professional members have elected Matthew Moylecroft and Matthew Enger to the board. Matthew Moylecroft was elected to a 3-year term, and Matthew Enger was elected to a 2-year term. So congratulations, Matthew and Matthew. Round of applause. Our corporate members have elected Brett O'Hara, David Hooton, Richard Thompson, and Nate Garr. Brett was elected to a 3-year term, and Nate was elected to a 2-year term. Now, David and Richard each received the same number of votes. Therefore, to determine who serves the 3-year term and who serves the 2-year term, we're going to have a poll of corporate members that are present here at the moment. The poll is going to be conducted via Zoom in order to preserve the anonymity of the votes, and that's probably already popped up on your screen. I ask that only corporate members vote in this poll, please. The results are going to be tallied by the executive officer who's done all of the vote tallying and checked after the meeting closes, and members are going to be notified of that outcome. Unfortunately, Zoom doesn't let us see the detailed results until after the webinar ends. So if everyone, or if the corporate members could please vote for their preferred candidate to take the 3-year term, that would be great. So I want to thank all the outgoing board members. Well, the 2 of them, especially Nathan. Nathan has served 5 years plus on this board, and I want to warmly welcome the new board members. Well, Richard and Nate, and congratulate those who were re-elected. And I will hand back to Nathan. Thank you.
No worries. Obviously, it's going to take us a few minutes to calculate the results of the corporate members voting in Zoom, and just to ensure that the people are voting are actually the voting contact as well. So the staff will work that out, and then we will announce before I close the meeting which terms those 2 people got, I guess. No, we're not going to? What are you going to do? Oh, really?
Daryl.
Okay, sorry. Daryl, am I understanding correct that we don't get the voting results till the meeting's closed? Does that sound right?
Yes, we have no way of accessing the mapping of the names that voted to their vote to confirm that they were our members and so on.
All right, no worries. So we'll announce that via email separately, and we'll also put it on the website and all the usual channels once we've confirmed the board terms for those 2 candidates to the left. I think, as far as I'm concerned, that is the formalities for everything. While Narelle's doing that, I will say the board will stick around, the board members that are here. Please feel free. We will add everyone in so we can have an open conversation later on. If you have any questions, please feel free to post them in the chat as well. And the board will respond back, or the CEO, etc. So,
thanking you personally.
Thank you very much
for all your efforts over the past 5 years, and the board and the association.
No worries.
Really appreciate your time, and I hope you enjoy some of these.
Yeah, we're going to get more sleep and stuff, I think, hopefully. Awesome. Oh, this one?
Yep. All
right, I'll open this one. While I'm opening this one, I will declare this meeting closed if there's no other formalities. It would be 14:02 West Australia time or 17:02 Sydney time. Thank you very much. I believe that also we have a guest speaker joining us today. I have a lovely plaque. Thank you very much. It will have pride place on my shelf. Awesome. Thank you very much, guys. I appreciate it.
Well done.
Thank you, Nathan. It's just been a pleasure working with you over the last, well, year for me.
Yes.
But,
It feels like a lot more than a year, doesn't it? Also, before we do move on, Arnott's Technology Lawyers and Ella Arnott, who has been the association's lawyer for several years, has kindly offered up his office space for us to conduct this meeting today. So thank you very much to Alan and his staff for all the support they've given us the last year as well. So
thank you,
cheers.
Alan. It's much appreciated.